See it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Embark on a flavorful journey at the Brewers Cooperative, located within the vibrant community hub of Stovehouse in Huntsville. Their brewery isn't just about crafting exceptional beers. It's a destination where culinary delights and local brews harmonize. Whether you're seeking a laid-back lunch or a lively dinner with friends, their diverse menu has something to please every palate. And with a commitment to quality and a passion for innovation, they invite you to savor the unique flavor of Huntsville's craft beer scene at the Brewers Cooperative.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa, starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports and it's brought to you by The Good Feet Store. The Good Feet Store is a proud supporter of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For over 25 years, The Good Feet Store has been helping people get back to the life they love without their feet getting in the way. Start your journey at goodfeet.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Thursday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we'll be joined by men's basketball head coach Nate Oates.
Preseason pick to be the player of the year in the SEC is Mark Sears. Where have you seen steps forward in his game over the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, he's playing harder on defense. I think he's trying to lead more, doing a really good job making reads when he gets to the rim. But I think the biggest jump is just effort on the defensive end. Every possession, I think he's put together back-to-back days in practice of great effort on the defensive end and just trying to string together a bunch of great practice days to develop great habits to play great defense and play with max effort in the games.
What about Latrell Reitzel Jr.? Where have you seen steps forward for him?
Yeah, I mean, he's banged up right now. He's a little hurt, but he's same deal with him, comfortable in the offense after being here a year.
I'll have more in a moment.
This is Christian Miller for the Good Feet Store. I know from playing football at Alabama and in the NFL that if you have foot, knee, hip, or back pain, it can be a huge challenge. The Good Feet Store is designed to personally fit you with arch supports that alleviate and even eliminate your pain altogether. Try them before you buy them. They're in your free, no obligation, personalized fitting, and you can wear them home the same day. So if you're looking to improve your game, the Good Feet Store has you covered. Stop in for a free, personalized fitting today. Roll to victory at goodfeet.com. That's goodfeet.com. Roll Tide.
Join us this afternoon for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you are. We're back. We're live. We're brand new. We are off. We are running. It is Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Welcome in on a Thursday morning. A Thursday morning that wakes us up and sees this.
Here's the 1-2 pitch from Buehler. Got him swinging. That's it. It's a World Series win for LA. They've done it. They finish the job and give Los Angeles the parade it's been waiting for. A swarm of Dodgers on the right side of the infield. Grown men but children again, living out their dream.
That's the Los Angeles Dodgers radio call as the Dodgers win the World Series, and they made reference to the parade that they've been waiting for. In 2020, when the Dodgers won the title, they were still dealing with the COVID pandemic, and they did not have a parade when they won in 2020. So the parade will happen on November 1st, which is Fernando Valenzuela's birthday.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. But that definitely wasn't Vin Scully or Charlie Steiner on the call.
No, it was not.
No, mine was a lot better in my house. Probably woke some people up. Yankees lose! Yankees lose! Yankees lose! That was more.
That was more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A fifth inning meltdown.
A gag job. And I listened to the whole thing on the radio with John Shambi on 97.7 The Zone. Not covering first, throwing the ball away.
Yankees were up 5-0.
Dropping balls in center. My buddy Freddie Free, who somebody I knew and was friends with, I'd call that a former friendship now, but had enough baseball IQ to tell me Freddie Freeman wasn't elite years ago. Wonder what he thinks now. But again, MVP of the World Series.
Oh, really? I mean, all Freddie Freeman did in this World Series was become the only player to ever go deep in each of the first 4 games of the World Series. He batted 300 in the series, 6 for 20, with a 364 on-base percentage, a 1,000 slugging percentage. He drove in 12 runs, which matched Bobby Richardson's 1960 record for the most in a World Series. He put him in a 3-way tie for the 3rd most all-time in any postseason series. That's all he did.
Yeah, that's all I did. And then when you count back to his time winning it with the Braves in 21, he homered in 5 straight World Series games. That's all. Only 5 in a row.
That's all he did.
But he's going to the Hall of Fame, but he's not an elite player. He doesn't come through in the clutch. Hello? 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 I mean, you couldn't be any stupider.
Anyway, there you go.
Just hated it was in that uniform, but hey, 2-time world champ.
Yep.
Freddie Freeman, and the Dodgers win it and the Yankees lose it, and they just gagged on it all night long. It was awful. I mean, starting in the 5th inning, I mean, it was just
I've not seen a meltdown like that in a long time.
Wow. It was unreal.
Yeah.
And I'll admit it. I mean, I was in and out of the car, so I didn't even get a chance to I missed Freddie Freeman's base hit, and then of course the double off the wall that tied everything. But hey, it was beautiful. That's all I can say. Because I'll be honest, when it was 5-0, I'm thinking, well, I mean, obviously we're probably going to have a game 6 here.
Yeah.
Going to have to go back to Los Angeles, and did not. I mean, good Lord! Now I haven't again. I listened to it, and he said he dropped it, but man,
he just saw Aaron Judge misplay the fly ball in center.
Brewer Hicklin catches that 10 out of 10 times. Give the guy a shot in the big leagues, man.
And if you go to the Brewer Hicklin camp on November 9th, they will teach you how to catch that ball
with 2 hands.
With 2 hands.
Oh man! And then I listened to this. Oh, that was a terrible throw from Volpe. and then here we go. Like, what in the hell? You didn't even cover the bag, you lazy piece of trash. I mean, how much are they paying you?
That's Garrett Cole, and they're paying him a ton of money.
Garrett the choker.
He goes halfway
Lord.
And then stops.
I love it.
Oh, gotta love live reaction. Anyway, that was the World Series from last night.
You should have found homeboy from 2006 that Mike Valente was having the meltdown after Michigan State choked against Notre Dame when he was choking on sauce and giving us all the That's what we needed for that.
Now, according to stats,
Yeah.
this was the second time in a postseason history that a team blew a 5+ run lead with all of the runs being unearned. The previous time, I mean, we all remember gathering around the TV watching this one, 1956, when the Yankees blew a 5-run lead against the Brooklyn Dodgers in Game 2.
Yeah. Well, they said as far as this was the biggest blown lead in World Series history by a team, and I thought, well, in a single game, and again, but that's nice. I mean, first, the Yankees are the only team ever to be up 3-0 in a postseason series and gag that away. And it was in Yankee Stadium. And then this one is too. Sox, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was beautiful. We call that grand slam the Johnny Damon, the one where, if you remember with that series, it was classic. I mean, the first 6 games were back and forth. All that. Yeah, but the Game 7 was a beatdown, which made it all the more glorious. I mean, all the Yankee fans having to sit there from the first inning on, like, what's going on? What's going on? They're cursed. They're not supposed to beat us. How are they hitting grand slams in the first? And just burying the only fun they had was screaming at Pedro Martinez, even though they were down friggin', like 8 runs. I'm like, go ahead and scream at Pedro Martinez, you bunch of clowns. I mean, and I hope those 2 jackasses that took the baseball were watching on TV last night too. See ya. Bartman of the Yankees.
Yeah. Anyway, there's your Major League Baseball.
And Bartman didn't even do what they did. And they still harassed that guy.
No, Bartman?
Yeah.
He's kind of.
I hate it.
Yeah, he's kind of resurfaced here a little bit in the last few years, but anyway. As soon as the World Series was over, Las Vegas said, "All right, here we go."
That's what they always do.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They put odds on who's going to win the World Series next year, and Braves fans, rest assured, Las Vegas likes the 2025 edition of the Atlanta Braves because they've installed the Dodgers as plus 400 favorites to repeat as World Series champions, but they put the Braves and Yankees both at plus 800 to win the 2025 World Series. Now, there's a lot of free agency coming up. There's a lot of other stuff coming
Juan
up.
Soto, what's he going to do?
These teams are going to change. A lot of this is going to change. But they do like the Atlanta Braves right now going into the 2025 season. Just saying. I'm just saying. Put $1 down on the Braves and you might make $1 or $2.
Might need to get a bat or two. And then maybe we'll see what happens with Max Fried. That's another free agent. And what the Braves do, with the on their pitching staff. But we know Chris Sale should win that Cy Young Award, or it's fixed.
Well, if you're keeping track at home, the White Sox, Rockies, and Marlins are all plus 50,000 to win the World Series next year.
How many games did they end up losing?
I don't know, but to say the White Sox, Rockies, and Marlins are all in the same category when the White Sox set the record.
How could anybody be in the same category with the White Sox right now?
That's what I'm just
Horrendous.
saying. Anyway, there you go. Major League Baseball World Series is done. The season is over.
And it's been 15 years since the Yankees won anything.
There was, in case you did not want to watch baseball.
What a game. Now, this was much better.
Creeping a safety up. It'll be Stewart. He bounces it outside, finds the edge, and Trey Stewart goes rolling across the 50. He will take it all the way. A 75-yard touchdown for Trey Stewart would tie the game between Jack State and Liberty at 7. And Rich Rodriguez had the Gamecocks ready last night on the road against Liberty. They win it 31-21 over the Flames.
Oh, they do. I was thinking about Mike Paris last night on the call and on the radio network, and what a win for Jack State, man. 31-21. Pardon me. And Trey Stewart went crazy, 232 yards, 4 touchdowns, and they had a really nice win, and on the road too, by the way, which makes it even better. And And now, you could argue that well, you can't really. I mean, it's Western Kentucky who also got a 31-14 win over Brandon's Kennesaw State Owls, who are probably still basking in the glow of their win over Liberty. But still, those are probably your two favorites right now in Conference USA, and 5-game winning streak for Jack State. And I mean, what a job, man. I mean, they got Trey Stewart from the Division II ranks. I believe it was Limestone College. I was looking it up where he was, and man, 232 yards against Liberty, and that's his. I know the bowl win was huge. I mean, it was their first bowl win ever in the New Orleans Bowl in the FBS competition. But I mean, this is big, man. They're still alive to win the conference here, and
yes, they
what
are.
A job.
They have 4 games remaining on the schedule. 2 of them come against teams near the bottom of the division in Louisiana Tech and FIU. Okay, Louisiana Tech is 2-3 in conference play. They're below 500 overall. We all know FIU is struggling now. Jack State's final 2 games. That is where it's really going to get tricky. They have Sam Houston, which is 4-1 in conference play. They're 7-2 overall,
and they're making that transition from
but
FCS.
that's at home.
Yeah,
that's on the 23rd of November. Then on the 30th of November, they travel to Western Kentucky to finish the season. So you have 2 games
made for television, brother. Coming off of Thanksgiving.
You have 2 games in the stretch there for Jacksonville State, but that final one with Western Kentucky could mean if both continue the lines that they are on, you would have a winner-take-all conference showdown there.
Bandy, there's some more 90s music we could have for this one. Gone till November. I'm telling you, it's big. It's big for Jack State. The end of November. Wow, that could be huge. What a huge month this could be coming up for the Gamecocks, man.
I'm trying to see now. Could they?
Yeah.
Wow. So I believe they actually have hosted at school by the team with the best conference winning percentage.
Yeah.
So how weird is this? And I believe I'm right on this. Western Kentucky and Jack State could play on the 30th of
And you're saying
November,
turn around and play in a week.
and then turn around and play each other again the following week in the conference championship game.
Oh, wow.
Would that be weird?
About as weird as the Army and Navy could have played twice in a row, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It still could, though, because, again, Navy just lost to Notre Dame.
It still could.
They could play in the conference championship game, then play in a regular season game afterward. I mean, it's kind of
Well,
crazy.
you mentioned that conference. You mentioned the AAC.
Yes.
Tonight,
Shalane,
there's going to be
baby.
a lot of eyes on that conference tonight because our good friend
John Summerall
will be in action this evening as the Tulane Green Wave have a road game against Charlotte tonight. And, of course, Tulane already 4-0 in conference play.
Yeah, so there's still a lot to decide in the AAC, but we're firmly behind John and the Green Wave. Let's go Wave, roll Wave, as they say.
Yes, if he can get a win
But
tonight.
Jack State, wow, what an opportunity, man! What a huge month of November, gone till November.
Well, now they just need one more win. Remember last year they had to apply.
Well, no,
to get the
yeah.
waiver to get the bowl game,
And there
for
wasn't
Jack
enough
State.
teams.
right? Because there wasn't enough teams, and
But this is bigger.
This is bigger though, because one more win, you're going to back
And
bowl games.
and forgive me, but did you say that the Western Kentucky is it on the road or at home?
It's on the road.
On the road. Bowling Green, Kentucky, everybody.
Ain't a lot of in Bowling Green, let me tell you that. Maybe a donut shop. That's about it. Ain't a lot out there.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, there could be a big football game.
I believe the National Corvette Museum is in Bowling Green.
Is it?
Yeah, I
Wow.
believe so.
There you
Anyway, I mean, all right, let's get our first break in. When we come back, I've driven through there. That's about all. About all the time I want to give that place.
All right. Well, I mean, I've been through like Louisville, and that's how you say it, but I don't know that I've been through Bowling Green. I know I've.
Well, if you've gone to
our good friend
Louisville,
Freddie
you've
Kirby's
gone-
been through Bowling Green.
You've
Probably.
gone up 65, and you've gone through the outskirts of Bowling Green because it's right there off of 65.
Gotcha. All right. Maybe, Jeff is the Kentucky expert. He could tell us about it.
Yes, the National Corvette Museum is in Bowling Green, Kentucky,
Right.
in case you wanted to stop.
Nice.
Showcases the Chevrolet Corvette.
Wow.
All right. It's on Corvette Drive in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
And that's another song, Brent's Little Red Corvette.
Let's get that break in. We'll continue to talk college football. 256-576-4977. You can join the conversation next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
HPD is working at least 2 accidents westbound 565 right around Oakwood. That's backing traffic up coming across Chapman Mountain. Everything accident-wise in there is reported as a no injury. Snelling needs an experienced weigh station operator. The position is a direct hire. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
It's the dawning of a new age in Tuscaloosa.
I understand what Alabama football is all about. Roll time.
Join the Crimson Tide as the Kalen DuBois era begins.
15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Join us next Saturday as the Crimson Tide head to the Swamp for an SEC showdown with the LSU Tigers on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Our steady diet consists of food and football, and occasionally some baseball and hoops.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
What is that? Is that the new Halloween music or the old one? Oh, give me that new
come
stuff.
on.
If you're gonna go Halloween music, you go the original.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it doesn't even have words to it, but it's one of the most iconic beats ever.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Bailey. 256.
Forgiven Bailey L.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, if
you know the song that gives Kirby PTSD. Oh Lord. I've never heard that song, by the way. You said it's new, but how the heck is that? Halloween from where?
I don't know.
Okay, gotcha.
See, I mean, this is the one.
Yeah. There you go.
See, now when you're talking Halloween, that's the original. That's John Carpenter. That's the original.
One of his boys created this.
Happy Halloween, by the way, everybody out there. You go out and you have trick-or-treaters tonight. Just be safe and have fun out there. A lot of sugar highs going on. By the way, Madison County Schools tomorrow has an e-learning day. I wish we had
just because they're coming down from the sugar high.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wish we had this when we were in school.
Hell, we never had any of that. Oh, that was yours? Oh.
No, I was playing.
No, you're playing the classic John Carpenter. He's talking about the Nightmare Before Christmas, whatever the hell that is.
Anyway, 256-576-4977. You can join the conversation this morning. Let's go to Brandon real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning, man. You all right?
Yeah, there's a connection bad on y'all's end.
Yeah.
Well, at first I thought you had laryngitis. I wasn't sure.
I'll try you back.
All right. I thought, oh, man, what happened? No, I mean, all of a sudden he had a bad connection. I mean, but whew.
And it was announced yesterday. So yesterday, we talked and we previewed the Georgia-Florida matchup, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Right.
Remember, Everbank Stadium is going to be under construction.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then they announced that. Yeah.
They announced it yesterday that Atlanta and Tampa are going to host the 2026, 2027 versions of that game. But then it's going to be moved back to Jacksonville. It's been there since 1929.
Yeah.
Other than 94 and 95 when they tore down the Gator Bowl and built the new stadium. That's when they had to move it. Same thing. Now they're going to renovate it.
Where did they move
have
it
to
then?
move the game. I believe they played it on campus for
Oh,
those
did they?
2 years.
Those 2 years?
I believe they played it on campus.
Because I'll be honest, I was, of course, in high school going into college. That doesn't ring a bell, but I'm sure it happened. Of course, but I just don't remember it. But I know that that Kirby was wanting to get it, home at home and hoping they would move it at least temporarily to home campuses. But then some were worried that they would eventually move it away permanently. And very, very important to the city of Jacksonville, considering that they don't make a lot of checks.
And then now remember, you're saying in the article that I read, that remember because of the fact that the schools now have to pay the athletes back money and $20 million and all this other stuff, that Georgia and Florida get money for playing in this game.
Yeah.
And if they moved it away from Jacksonville, they wouldn't get this money. And keep in mind, they said, hey, remember, Georgia Tech, I don't know if you saw this, Georgia Tech moved their 2025 game with Georgia from on campus to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for $20 million, for $10 million.
There you go.
So Georgia Tech is going to get $10 million by moving that game a few miles down the road to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So they gave up a home game to move it in there. To
make them some money.
Because they need money. So
money.
A lot of this stuff is money. And we said, hey, these kickoff classics were kind of going away because of everybody wanted to go back on campus. I'm wondering if we're going to see more of those if these kickoff classics decide to pay schools some money, because they're going to need money.
They are. It's a very tumultuous time in athletics, and we'll see what happens by January of 2025, man. Yeah. I mean, that's all I can say, because Ross Dellinger's been reporting about this for months and talking about the settlement and everything that they're trying to get. And but we know the election's coming up next week, and then after that,
I was reminded of
that
it's Tuesday.
So and then once that's decided, maybe some more pieces start falling into place. Nick Saban's made several trips to DC. We know those are that Ross has reported on that. So. And he's kind of been one of the faces trying to come up with because there's going to be revenue sharing. That's the thing Ross has been trying to tell everyone. There's going to be some sort of model. Okay. And so that's the next big step.
All right. So next Tuesday, that's right. It's put up or shut up day.
Yeah.
With the election. All right. Brandon is back with us. Good morning, Brandon.
What's up?
We're crystal clear now.
Yes.
All right. Well, I was sitting there last night, and I said, I'm going to take a shot at what I think Scott's walk-up music should be.
Uh-oh.
What the heck is that?
That's Master P making them say,
Oh, wow, Master P.
Wow. Okay.
Been seeing a bunch of TikToks about Master P, man. He saved Snoop Dogg's career after Hood Knight tried to steal all his money. Nobody's surprised by that. I'm sorry, Suge Knight.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
well, my Kennesaw State Owls, we suck again.
Well, I mean, you had your moment in the sun, though. You softened them up for Jack State, and we appreciate that.
Most of those guys might have been sober for that game last night after last week. I don't know. It's fun. But I'm going to tell you, I think Rich Rod's doing something.
Oh, he's rolling. I've already had people to ask me if other schools are going to start sniffing around again, and we'll see.
I think he's on a quiet march, and if he continues to do what he does, he's going to have a very solid program there.
Well, I mean, he could end his career there. See, I still think years ago that he made a mistake leaving West Virginia, because that was his alma mater, and he got him rolling, almost made the national championship game. He flirted with Alabama. We all know that fell apart, but that worked out for both parties. But then he went to Michigan, and it was just a disastrous fit. And then he didn't have a good run at Arizona. I didn't really think that was a great fit either. I think Rich is I think Jack State is a really good fit, and I think he would have kept winning it. Let's put it this way. I think his name would have eventually gone on the stadium at West Virginia if he'd have stayed. But that happens sometimes. Butch Davis should have stayed at Miami. He would have been a Hall of Fame college coach.
He only
Instead,
had one
thunk.
He only had one losing season at Arizona.
Yeah, but
he didn't have a great Pac-12.
Like overall record. And then he got
40
into it with the administration.
He was 43-35 at Arizona, but he was only 24-30 in Pac-12 play.
And that's not an easy place to win anyways.
No,
we all know
he
since Dick Tomey retired.
26 at West Virginia.
See?
34-14 in Big
Pat
East
White,
play.
Noel Devine.
Yeah.
All them cats.
And then he was a disaster as 15-22 at Michigan, 6-18 in Big Ten play in just 3 seasons.
Ugh.
Well, and where he's at now for recruiting, you're in an area where
a lot of good players that are getting overlooked, man.
Yes, I mean you're in an area to catch talent that you may have some guys that you can rehab from Auburn, Alabama, Florida, and being in a good recruiting base is a good place to be. I don't necessarily think Arizona is a great recruiting base. Could be wrong on that one, but I've just not seen a ton come out of that state. But I think this time around, he's just in a spot to where he can really get it done if he can just catch some good players here and there. And let's see, are their games ESPN Plus now?
Yeah, they're on. Well, they were CBS Sportsnet last night. That's why they play a lot of Wednesday games, because Conference USA has that deal with ESPN.
Tuesday and Wednesday,
Wednesday games where they can actually be on TV. And so Jacksonville State, I mean, that's a smart move by Conference USA. It is a smart move. But yes, they most of their games have been on TV. Let me see where next week's game is. But anyway, yes.
And I'm going to tell you, it makes a lot of people feel like home listening to Eli.
Yeah.
I mean, that was not a bad pickup on their part, because I've turned it on just to listen to him a little bit.
Yeah, next week's game for Jacksonville State is a Saturday game, but it's on CBS Sportsnet. So it'll be another televised game for Jack State.
Yeah.
Well, moving on up. Well, gentlemen, roll Tide, and if you can, make them say on.
Well, I will say this, though. The one good thing, Brandon, you make that drive a lot. The thing about Jack State is they're close enough to the state of Georgia and then still in Alabama where there's a lot of good players they can get. And especially a lot of these high school kids that aren't elite, because now the 4- and 5-star level are getting all the attention because of NIL and the transfer portal. And then they're trying to also get guys from the portal, a lot of these Power 4 schools. So, and then don't forget, Jack State lost their defensive coordinator to Oklahoma. But like, Rich Rod told the, Greg Seats and the administration, the AD at Jack State, he said that getting staff is not going to be a problem. He just felt like he has enough connections around college football that he would be able to always have a good staff at Jack State. And we certainly are excited for their opportunity.
Rich Rodriguez, by the way, he's 61 years old.
Yeah.
He may not want to move up again. He may be content staying.
Well, they're throwing a lot of
State
money
at
into the
61.
facilities. I mean, we talked about that new football building they just opened, and they were
Right.
putting $80 million into the facilities. And hey, it's they love football at Jack State. They have a very proud tradition, and everything's about timing. And
Yeah. I mean, they moved from the ASUN to
Yeah.
Conference USA since he's been there.
Yeah.
He's 23-9 since he's arrived at Jack State, 15-2 in conference play. Now he's 10-2 in Conference USA play, 15-2 if you add the ASUN and Conference USA games together. But he's 10-2 in Conference USA play. So he's 61 years old. This may be it. Jack State may have hit gold. He may finish his career there as a Gamecock coach because, I mean, why? Why go anywhere?
Yeah.
At 61. All right, let's get a break in for us. When we come back, we'll continue to set the table for what we have coming up this morning. Hale McGranahan's going to join us at 7:40. South Carolina has a big one.
They do. This is huge for them because it's a trap game for Texas A&M because people are, once again, sort of looking ahead to what A&M could potentially do, which would be to get to Texas at the end of November, on November the 30th, in hosting them in College Station for what could be a de facto playoff game and/or trying to get to Atlanta for the SEC championship game. But this is one of those trap games where we've seen South Carolina. They should have beat LSU. We know they got completely hosed by the officials. And then they almost beat Alabama. We saw that. They have one of the better pass rushes in the SEC, one of the better defenses overall. And then they've got a young team that I think Shane Beamer under the radar has done a really good job. And this is a big year for him because they finished 5-7 last year. People were not satisfied, but they've continued to recruit well. Dylan Stewart's been a godsend at defensive end, 5-star from the DMV. And they have as good a combination at pass rush as anybody in the Southeastern Conference. And just seeing their defense up close and personal, I certainly had a chance to do that inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. Let me correct myself, Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That was a heck of a game for South Carolina. And then and I know they're struggling, but they just go to Norman and just, waylay the Sooners. So this is an interesting game here because A&M, which quarterback will they play? Are they going to play their card? Are they going to name a starter? Because that's they've won a couple of games kind of doing the, one was, with Connor Wegman was against Missouri. They started him when people thought he wouldn't play at all. And then people weren't expecting them to switch to Marcel Reed in the second half against LSU. And so they sort of ambushed a couple of teams. So what will their approach be against South Carolina, who can get after the quarterback? Personally, I would think Reed would be the starter and use his mobility, but you never know.
Let's get a break in, shall we? When we come back, we'll continue to set the table. A little quick segment there, and then we will get into that talk.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. The best chance for that is going to be as we head into the later part of the evening through the overnight and then early into your Friday morning. Temperatures on Thursday afternoon still going to climb into the upper 70s and lower 80s. A rather warm final day of October, a rather warm Halloween. We only drop into the mid-60s as we head into the overnight. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible through Friday afternoon, but it looks like many of us are going to be dry. Temperatures hanging out in the mid-70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck at Drake in the Parkway. It sounds like it's going to be on Drake at the Parkway. No injury reported. And we got a couple of wrecks, 565 westbound around Oakwood. They sent Himsey to one, but they ended up canceling the unit before it arrived. Do you know who to call when you need a heart doctor? You can write it down now so you have it in the future. Dr. Randall Burns is at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Embark on a flavorful journey at the Brewers Cooperative, located within the vibrant community hub of Stovehouse in Huntsville. Their brewery isn't just about crafting exceptional beers. It's a destination where culinary delights and local brews harmonize. Whether you're seeking a laid-back lunch or a lively dinner with friends, their diverse menu has something to please every palate. And with a commitment to quality and a passion for innovation, they invite you to savor the unique flavor of Huntsville's craft beer scene at the Brewers Cooperative.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
The best local sports talk with the best in college football. A perfect combination. Hi, this is Chris Stewart. Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is a good one.
One-hit wonder.
But I believe, didn't he get sued for this?
Something like that.
Because it's I Want a New Drug.
Yeah.
And that was Ghostbusters. That was Ray Parker Jr. But
Ray Parker Jr., correct.
I believe he got sued because of one of the two got sued because I think it's I Want a New Drug. Because if you listen to it, it's all the exact same thing. One of the two got sued for anyway. Hi. It's Halloween.
I know.
Look, we've got this huge bin of candy sitting at home. We're prepared. I am prepared for tonight.
What, are you going to eat half of it?
No, I'm going to, that is the hardest part. We have got a monster bin of candy sitting at home.
Yeah, right.
And I am prepared for tonight, down to the point where I got to decide. Well, I mean, I am ready for this. I am ready for trick-or-treaters to come to my house. And I thought I did well. Big bin of candy. Call my mom. I said, I'm ready for tomorrow. She goes, well, your sister's ready too. She went to Sam's and she bought candy. And I said, well, what's she giving out? Well, she's giving out the big size candy bars.
Oh, wow.
Like she's brought like 100 of the big size candy bars.
So they're really going to need
I'm like, well, now
man.
I feel really bad because I'm giving out the mini size.
Well, most people give minis. They don't give the king size ones. You don't want to put them in a sugar coma.
All right. So we mentioned before the break that South Carolina does have a big one. And you look at it, they're 4-3 overall, 2-3 in SEC play, but you cannot help but go back to the LSU game and think, man, South Carolina could have and should have won that LSU game.
Could have beat Alabama too, man. I mean, this is a pretty good football team.
Yes.
I think they got a above average chance in this game against A&M. I haven't picked them, but man, I mean, it's tempting.
A&M's only a 2.5 point favorite on the road.
Yeah, no question about it. And this next gentleman, it was great catching up with him. Saw him in the press box. He and good friend David Cloninger both made the trip covering the South Carolina Gamecocks in Tuscaloosa against the Alabama Crimson Tide, a game Alabama escaped 27-25, but they responded since that time, destroying Oklahoma on the road in Norman the next week. And now they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this home game against Texas A&M, and we're going to talk some South Carolina. He does a great job for the Big Spur, part of 24/7 Sports, and that's Hale McGranahan. Hale, happy Halloween. You're in Huntsville with Drew and Scott. How are you? Oh, okay. We got to go back. Got to get back and get Hale.
We've paid the phone bill.
Oh, we have.
We've had some phone.
Michael
issues.
Myers didn't cut the lines. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever get into any of those Halloween?
Oh, I saw. I enjoyed the 2 Rob Zombie reboots. I saw both of them. Now
Friday the 13th, Halloween.
No.
Any of those? Carrie. Did you get into any of those?
No.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Hell no. No. I've just never been much of a horror film guy, but I did enjoy the 2 reboots from Rob Zombie because he made them very realistic, in my opinion. You know, it's not like some of this. I've watched the beginning of a couple of these Friday the 13th. You know, a grave gets struck by lightning, and all of a sudden somebody's coming out of the ground. I mean, come on, give me a break. I mean, it's just sort of weird.
We will get Hale back on here momentarily. But you look at the rest of the league, and if you look at the rest, of the stuff, Tennessee will welcome Kentucky on Saturday. I think we're getting them back here momentarily.
Yeah.
Tennessee will welcome Kentucky. Tennessee a 16.5-point favorite. Mississippi State gets UMass, and everybody's giving Oklahoma a hard time this weekend, because they're saying Oklahoma has indoctrinated themselves into the SEC in real form because they're playing Maine this weekend. But anyway, our attention is still on South Carolina and Texas A&M right now.
No, it really is. And South Carolina's coming off of a beat down in Norman, which really kind of signaled to everybody that this football team, that wasn't a fluke when, you know, they should have beaten LSU for sure, and then scared Alabama and pushed them to the bitter end. But we're going to talk to Hale McGranahan. We caught up with him in Tuscaloosa. He's from the Big Spur 24/7, and he's going to join us on this Halloween and talk some South Carolina Gamecocks. Hale, welcome back to Huntsville with Drew and Scott. Good morning.
Hey guys, sorry, I guess my call dropped because anytime you're around Columbia and you start talking about that LSU game, folks get.
Yeah, I would too. Considering that I don't know who was dressed as officials that day for Halloween, but they were horrendous.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, but hey, hell, a great opportunity for the Gamecocks Saturday, man. This has been talking about this trap game. They're coming off a great performance, and I thought it said a lot about their team when they played as well as they did against OU. Of course, Shane Beamer has a lot of ties to that program after the heartbreak against Alabama, where they could have easily won the game.
Yeah, and the week before that Alabama game, they played Ole Miss and stunk up the joint in Williams-Brice.
Right.
So yeah, they bounced back against Alabama and came down to the wire. Had a chance to win that game after laying an egg against Ole Miss, and like you said, played real well in Norman and showed what that defense is all about. Once again, that's an incredible group, and they'll certainly need to be on top of things this weekend against A&M, assuming they've got that Marcel Reed playing quarterback again, like he was in the second half against LSU last week.
Was this the expectations for this team? I mean, has South Carolina and Shane, have they met where they were supposed to be, or have they kind of exceeded where we thought they'd be?
You know, for me coming into the season, I really thought they would be somewhere in this 4-3, maybe 5-2 range, depending on how things shook out. I knew the defense was going to be good and better than it was last year and in years past, recent years. But I didn't know that Kyle Kennard would be this awesome. He was good at Georgia Tech and had a good season in 2023, but I never would have imagined this. Dylan Stewart was going to be a difference maker early on, but never would have imagined that he's playing to the level that he has as a true freshman. So yeah, I'm kind of online with what I had in mind, but certainly not to this extent with the defense. They've been incredible.
Well, and then I'll just say this: the defensive line as a whole is just a wrecking ball. I mean, they did a great job against Alabama. I know they fell behind early and were down 14-0, but they certainly responded. And I'll just say this: I remember talking to you and David in the press box near the end of the first half. I'd never seen anything like the last 2 minutes of that second quarter where Carolina nearly took the lead on a pick six. And then that drive in the third to start the third quarter, I really thought Alabama was on the ropes. I thought they were very fortunate to escape. And Carolina's defense, that's the best defense I've ever seen at South Carolina. Hey, no disrespect to Jadeveon Clowney and Jadeveon Clowney and all those guys. And they had some really good players back in the day that were first-round picks that are still playing in the NFL right now. But again, I just Stephon Gilmore, but this Carolina defense is one of the top 2 to 3 or 4 in the SEC, I think.
Yeah, they're deep, man. A couple weeks ago when I was doing interviews with Oklahoma podcasts and radio stations, and of course, folks want to talk about Kennard and Stewart, and rightfully so. But I pointed out those interior linemen like Talkin Hemingway and T.J. Sanders and Bogey Huntley. Those guys are all really good. And the crazy thing about that Oklahoma game, guys, is 9 different guys had sacks for Carolina, right?
Yeah.
The last two to get a sack in that game were Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart. So 7 guys got a sack before their best 2 pass rushers. Go figure.
Yeah.
Well, quarterback-wise, Lenoris Sellers, we've seen him, and we've seen Robbie Ashford too, the Auburn transfer. But obviously, I mean, this team, Lenoris Sellers will have to lead them if they want to get through these next few hurdles, right?
Oh, for sure. They're riding with him. He's their guy. They are fully invested in Lenoris Sellers as the QB of the present and the future, for that matter. But just going back to that Alabama game, things were going really well for South Carolina offense, and he was taking care of the ball. And not coincidentally, when things were going bad, is when he was fumbling or making a bad decision or throwing an interception. So yeah, he needs to do a better job this last month of the season of taking care of the football. I mean, he's fumbled a good bit. He's thrown a few interceptions during the first 7 games of the season, or I should say first 6. He didn't have any turnovers against Oklahoma. So yeah, it's been a bit of an issue for him. Redshirt freshman quarterback. I think that shouldn't be too big of a surprise for anyone who follows college football in general. But yeah, he's got to do his part and allow the defense to not be put in bad positions and have to defend a short field, almost kind of like LSU did in the second half against A&M last week when things were going so well for them, and Nussmeier starts throwing interceptions, and A&M gets 17 points in the second half off turnovers, all off drives that started in the LSU territory. So Carolina can't do that this weekend.
Well, we're talking to Hale McGranahan, Big Spur 247. So what is the feel as you've started, of course, going through the bye week, then coming out of this, and now preparing and studying this Texas A&M football team? Are we going to see Marcel Reed? Are they going to play their cards? I mean, what is your feel for it? I would think Reed would get the start as well as he played off the bench, or are they going to play both of them, you think?
I think I would assume Reed's going to start.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they do play both of them, though. Drew, I mean, it's just hearing what Mike Elko had to say earlier this week. Reading between the lines, I guess. Like, I don't know that he's convinced that playing Marcel Reed every play is necessarily the right answer. Even though Wegman did have some issues last week against LSU, I go back to what I said a second ago about A&M getting those turnovers and starting possessions and LSU's into the field. I mean, the first touchdown drive that Reed had, they started at the 8-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
The next one started at like the 26 or something like that. Then they got another turnover later, I think maybe in the fourth quarter, and kicked a field goal. And again, that started in LSU territory. So, I don't know if Connor Wegman's going to get touchdowns on those 3 drives, but it's kind of nice when you're a quarterback, and all you got to do is get a first down to get in the red zone or to get in the end zone, and things can kind of help you out a little bit when you've got a short field and some momentum like that going for you. So I don't know that Mike Elko is necessarily as gung ho about playing Marcel Reed as maybe some of the A&M fan base is, or folks like us who are kind of on the outside and wondering what they might do. So my assumption is that we'll see both, but I guess we'll have to wait till Saturday night and find out.
Well, South Carolina needs 2 wins in their final 5 games to get back to a bowl game. Not going to be easy because you got Texas A&M this weekend, but it's at home. Then it's 2 Vanderbilt, and then it's Missouri, Wofford, and Clemson on the horizon there. So
you get a win Saturday night,
yeah,
though. I think the expectations go up.
Go a long ways into making that a possibility.
Oh, guys, at thebigspur.com, where we've got an incredible subscriber base and very active message board, there are folks already talking about 5-0 in November. So expectations are through the roof for some.
Well, that would be tremendous.
5-0 in November. That'd be a heck of an accomplishment for Shane Beamer.
Yeah, it really would.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, he would be on the short list for SEC Coach of the Year to do that. Now, in your mind, as you've looked at it coming out of the bye, I would think that South Carolina's got to be pretty healthy right now. What are your keys to the game for the Gamecocks as you've studied it? Because this has the potential to be a low-scoring game, because this is 2 of the better defenses in the league.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely look at this as a low-scoring game. So, sort of like I think a lot of folks probably had in mind for that Oklahoma game, and it got sideways in a hurry because of those pick sixes in the first quarter. But yeah, definitely a lower scoring game with the 2 defenses and how good they are. I mean, A&M up front is dangerous, and South Carolina certainly had to deal with a couple of strong fronts already this season, and again Oklahoma and Ole Miss. A&M's as good as those 2, if not the best. So I think that's the key there is trying to give Lenore Sellers some time, try to have some success running the football. It's going to be a challenge because of who they're playing against. And, again, going back to the turnovers that Garrett Nussmeier had last weekend, if Lenore is fumbling like he has at times this year or getting pressured into throwing picks, it's probably not going to end up being a good night for Carolina. So to me, that's where it starts is not letting that defensive front be too disruptive and throw things out of whack for the offense.
Do they have pretty much everybody available on Saturday?
Yeah. Basically, yeah. They're supposed to get Jared Brown back, the receiver who transferred from Coastal Carolina and was
big.
I think when he went down earlier this season, he was leading the team in receptions. So he's supposed to be back for the first time since the Ole Miss game. So that would be big. Then really the only guy who's going to be out, and he's been out for a little while, is DeAndre Jules, defensive tackle who transferred in from Pitt. I think he may have started in one of the 4 games he's played in, but certainly a heavy rotation guy and someone they've missed and will miss obviously this weekend with A&M and how they run the football. But fortunately for Carolina, they're deep at defensive tackle and all across that defensive line. So not the worst thing in the world given what they've got at that position still, but they definitely could use them against this bunch.
No question. And hell, I know you just dropped your kids off at school. What about Halloween tonight, man? Are they going out tonight?
Oh, well, she's only 4 months old. So
there you go.
Our way into it. Yeah, we're gonna
just have some pictures, probably. There you go.
We're gonna sit in the driveway until she starts getting too screamy. See how much candy we can pass out and maybe eat ourselves before we have to get her down for the night.
Well, congratulations, man, on the addition to your family, man. And should be a great game. Should be a great atmosphere. Sold out. It's going to be loud. It's going to be boisterous over there. South Carolina's always had a great fan base. They support their team so well. Williams-Brice is going to be jumping. It should be great. Let everybody know how to follow you guys' coverage over there at the Big Spur.
Yep, thebigspur.com. It's within the 24/7 Sports Network. So if anybody listening is subscribed to an Auburn side or an Alabama side or Tennessee or whoever, if you read that premium VIP information over there, you can read any of that stuff that we post at the Big Spur as well, and certainly have plenty of that and just regular coverage leading up to the game here on Saturday.
Thank you, Hale. Appreciate it, bud.
All right, boys. Always a pleasure. Thank y'all.
That's South Carolina, a little South Carolina preview there. And boy, think about that. If Shane Beamer could find some way to navigate Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Wofford, and Clemson.
5-0 November.
And when we say Wofford, we don't mean TCU. We actually mean the real Wofford.
Yeah, people forget that, yeah. My Druinary there, yeah. The real Wofford Terrier.
The real Wofford coming to town there in the 23rd of November. But then you get Clemson.
Yeah.
2 in the year. Clemson, by the way, still in contention
for
the ACC title.
Under the radar, they've gone on that run since Georgia whacked them.
Yep.
Pitt and Clemson.
And SMU.
I forgot about that.
Do not forget SMU.
I got to keep reminding myself they're in the ACC now.
And old Rhett Lashley.
The new coach at Auburn? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, look, if one Gus Malzahn disciple doesn't work, just go get another one.
Especially if he's winning at SMU.
And another one. And you just keep trying it until it works. Because, Rhett Lashley, former offensive coordinator on Gus Malzahn there.
Recruited Carry-On Johnson.
Yeah.
Our good friend at now University at UNA, they had a near miss on the road at Central Arkansas.
They did. They nearly had their second ranked win ever. And their second ranked win of the season this year on the road at Central Arkansas. Nearly had it. They had the ball with 1:10 left, going for a game-winning drive, and the pass was intercepted in the game. So, North Alabama and Brent DeArmond, he's getting closer.
Yeah.
Getting closer. All right, coming up here in just a minute, Jimmy Gay will join us. Huntsville High going to put a cap on the regular season tonight. Y'all got one tonight?
Flan Lee, old
Thursday
city rival.
I tell you what.
Bizarre on the call, too.
Yeah,
Buck
but
Horning
did you
Grissom.
see Irving McGuire yesterday?
What did he do?
It's Squat-tober or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Big old Lee head coach. You got to check this out. Dude was squatting
Slinging
some serious iron yesterday.
Former J.O. Johnson offensive lineman.
Serious iron. Yeah. Anyway, he won't be doing that tonight, though. He'll be coaching the football game. So will Huntsville High and Jimmy Gay. He'll be joining us next.
Couple old linemen coaching against each other.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This action update is brought to you by GBank. Earn cashback rewards on every eligible gaming transaction. VSiN.com/GBank.
Thursday night football, the Jets host the Texans. Houston 6-2, New York 2-6. Alan Lazard out for the Jets with a chest injury. Houston's Stephon Diggs done for the season with a knee injury. Houston quarterback C.J. Stroud on the absence of Diggs.
Yeah, man, it sucks. It's not easy. It's not, something that I just can have a whole bunch of words for. I just hoping, and just trying to just wrap my mind around, what happened.
The Jets by 2, Houston plus 110, over under 42.5. The Dodgers just won the World Series. They're already plus 400 favorites to win it in 2025. That's the VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I'm Chuck Sanders.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by Sports Med Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Big thank you. Sports Med Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They're dedicated to providing care that really improves lives, helping us kick off hour number 2. Tonight, boy, it is hard to believe. It is hard to believe that we are playing the final week of the high school football regular season. It feels, I guess maybe because of the weather. I think the weather has a lot to do with it because it still feels like mid-season, and I never thought heat timeouts would actually be a thing this late in the year, but
y'all still take them? Well, last week it was hot last week. It's hotter than usual.
Yeah, but
chilly the week before.
Maybe it's the weather or something that makes it feel like it, but man, we've flown by.
Yeah, it has. I mean, and it was the weather over at Madison City School Stadium. It was warmer than usual for a late October type football game. I admit I was in some sweatpants and some sleeves, and I was like, man, I could have wore shorts. I could have wore short sleeves like I'm wearing right now. But certainly it's been a fast process. Our next guest has been in place for roughly about 8 months at the helm of the Huntsville Crimson Panthers. He will wrap up his first season tonight at Milton Frank Stadium against the Lee Generals, the old city rival for Huntsville. They're trying to go out on top for a smaller senior class, but they have a lot of numbers in this program, over 160 players. They've got a lot of good young talent. And this is going to be a springboard, hopefully a positive one, to the offseason and trying to build this program back to reaching the playoffs perennially in 7A Region 4. And throughout the season, we've been blessed and fortunate to be able to talk each week to the head football coach of the Crimson Panthers, and that's Jimmy Gay. And he's taking some time out this morning to talk some Crimson Panther football with us. Coach, good morning. You're back with Drew and Scott. How are you?
Man, hanging in there.
Well, I hear you, Coach. And I know that was a rough one last week. That was another talented offensive team with a lot of speed. We talked about how explosive they were. You started the football game exactly as you'd want to. An 85-yard drive. You controlled the clock. You were able to be balanced and run, and especially control the line of scrimmage and run the football a little bit. And then I really hadn't seen that all year, even in the Austin game. Within a 7-play sequence, Bob Jones scores 3 touchdowns. They were very, very explosive offensively, Coach.
Oh, there's no doubt. You know what? I think that opening drive against Bob Jones, that was probably the best our offense looked all year.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He was able to run and throw and catch.
Yeah, Coach, then how do you take that drive then and use it as an example going forward of, hey, look, let's go out here tonight and let's see if we can string not just one, but maybe 2 or 3 of those drives together and have a complete game.
Oh, there's no doubt. We just got to have it in our mind that that's the type of team that we've got to be. It was a 12-play drive. And, anytime you get over 6 or 7 plays, you got to really be a disciplined team to not make mistakes. And that's what we've got to embrace, is that we just got to go play fundamental football.
Mm-hmm. And Coach, I know what's the kind of your message been this week? Because of course these seniors are disappointed. Everyone wanted to make the playoffs and be in the tournament starting next week. But for many of these young men who committed to you back in March and went through this process in this offseason, it'll be the last time they strap it up. How do you balance, paying respect to them in this final game, and then also playing young guys and getting some young talent more reps as you head into what is going to be a very pivotal and big offseason for you heading into year 2?
Well, we were only starting a few seniors. It's an opportunity to leave on a winning note.
Right.
That's the main thing. And, we're playing a Huntsville City school. If you can't whip the people in your own backyard, you're not going to be able to whip anybody else in the state.
And then Irving McGuire's team, I know it's been a rebuilding year for them. They lost a lot of talent, some explosiveness from the team a season ago. As you've kind of studied them on film, they're young like you guys. What have you seen, and what do you guys? What's going to be the key for you? What are you looking for? I guess last week I know the mantra was you wanted them to compete, go out there, leave it all on the field against a very talented Bob Jones team that is now the number 4 playoff seed that is going to the tournament. What's been your message to your team this week, Coach?
Oh, same thing. We want to go out there and compete every week. It doesn't matter who we play. We want to bring it every single game. It's just another opportunity to get out there and compete. These young men, they've worked hard all year. They don't want to leave anything to chance. They want to go out and just play hard and compete.
Coach, do you use tonight at all to look at some guys that maybe down the road, even next year, you're going to be needed to count on? Do you look at some younger guys tonight as well?
Well, we're returning the majority of our team. Like I said, we've got, due to injuries and things like that that's happened, we're returning the majority of our team. We're only losing a couple on offense and a couple on defense. So, those are all going to be returning players. And all our young kids have seen significant playing time in varsity action.
And we saw a newcomer. You kind of hinted to us last week that we would see some new guys. And Bryson Grissom is a guy that made his debut last week. Certainly played both ways for you, Coach. Made a play, broke up a trick play, a wide receiver, throwback deep ball that he broke up. Made a touchdown catch, got some outstanding separation, great throw from Will Carter in the corner of the end zone. But that young man, just a junior, he looks like he could definitely be a quality addition going forward for you.
There's no doubt. And, he's came and fit right in. He's just got to keep making plays. He made a real good catch, and he played well on defense also.
Yes, he really did. He made an impact at the corner spot, which has got to be exciting for you because you got a lot of young pieces back in that secondary, including Jagger Richardson, who's had a really good year. Ben Watson is an outstanding player. And those guys, this is pivotal too, because I know you got there in March, but this will be your first full off season as far as trying to get guys in the weight room, trying to, continue to build people up physically. And of course, now having your system in place and knowing what to expect in your style of football.
Oh, there's no doubt. I think toughness is built in the off season. And, and that's something that we've had a little lack of this year. Our toughness sometimes, you can question it.
Well, then let's look at tonight, the game plan for tonight. How do you finish this off? What are some of those X factors, some of those keys tonight to finish it off on a high note against Lee?
Well, every week it's going to be the same thing. We want to hold on to the ball on the offense. We want to take the war to them. Defense, we want to swarm tackle. We want to be solid in the kicking game. And play with some passion. Go out there and play like you love the game.
And then, Coach, I know you've done some experimenting as a staff, and he caught a ball again last week. What's it been like? I know you've been without Easy, one of your tight ends. He's been under the weather and sick, and I know Jack Gray's been one of your seniors that's seen some playing time, certainly. But you've moved your backup quarterback at times, Wyatt Smith, to tight end, and I thought he's looked pretty good at the position. Of course he'll still continue to compete at quarterback with Will Carter, but being able to move him around and show some versatility, what's it been like kind of seeing him? And I know you have an affinity for the tight end position. You like to run the football. You like to run two tights. what's the future of that position right now as you're going to lose a couple of important seniors going into next year?
Oh, yeah. Well, Jack Gray, he's done great all year.
Yes.
My hat's off to him. Last week, he was deathly ill and came out there and competed Friday. That's going to be very hard to replace him. But, Wyatt, he's a big body. He's a 6'5" kid. He showed some, he made a very good catch in the game and in a crucial situation. I look forward to seeing how he's going to develop.
I think we're all excited about that. And then your offensive line, as you said, every piece of it back. And you even had some guys banged up last week, so you got a chance to look at some other folks. I've got to believe, being an old offensive lineman yourself, you've got to be super excited about how much progress that group can make going into year two.
I am. I believe they have got better, each and every week. From our film breakdown, they've made strides every week. We just got to get bigger and stronger. I am excited about all of them coming back. In our defensive front too, we're losing one off the defensive front. I'm excited about them guys, and you win or lose in the trenches.
You certainly do. No doubt about that. And Coach, I know it was a banged up squad last week. I'm sure there's still some guys nicked up. And I know, but you're looking forward to tonight, watching these guys, as you said, play with passion and compete. I know you're hoping to get a nice jump into the offseason. How do you approach it after a game like this? Certainly you're wrapping up your season on a Thursday. Does the offseason start just right on Monday? How do you restart the next cycle for you?
We will start on Friday. We will.
Okay.
We'll have everything took up. We'll start to work on Friday for next year.
So it's going to be a quick turnaround.
Coach, do you like Thursday night games, or is there any difference to the schedule when playing on Thursday?
Well, the reason we scheduled it for Thursday, I was expecting to make the playoffs.
Right.
It's a long ride down to Montgomery on Saturday morning. So that's how it got. No, I really don't like Thursday night games, but I was trying to plan ahead.
No question. I mean, a lot of coaches do that. We've talked to a lot of them. We talked to Matt Patterson last week, we were on campus for them, and he was talking about the playoff schedule, because it's first round, second round, third round. You got to go to Montgomery every week, and it's very exhausting, especially when you're playing on a Friday night and you finish up late and you've got to get up in the morning and drive to Montgomery. Of course, it means you're still playing, which is the best time of year. But Coach, as you go into year two at Huntsville High, you've won a state championship at Parrish, you've been to the playoffs, made a deep run at Cordova. What's going to be the biggest key to getting Huntsville High back to the postseason, which is why you took this job, and what you want to try to do to continue to change the culture and establish this program as a perennial playoff one?
Well, we've got to build some toughness in the off season. And that's the thing. We've got to change people's mindsets. We've still had people, trying to take off during fall break to go on vacation and stuff like that. And real good programs, that kind of stuff don't happen.
Yeah. Well,
so the mindset's got to change, and it takes a little time when you're trying to change the culture of a place.
Coach, well, best of luck tonight.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this.
Yep.
It's been great to bring the fans Huntsville Crimson Panther football yet again this season. It's been exciting. Certainly, there's been some very bright moments and a bright future when you see all these young players coming out. And I thought really the highlight last week was some of the plays Will Carter made, and Bryson Grissom, who I think has a chance to really be a big part of things going into next year. Of course, Michael Chobe, a lot of these young players that you're going to see competing for your Crimson Panthers. Because we do look forward to tonight, 7 o'clock, Milton Frank Stadium. Michael Seal and I will be on the call. Justin Carter will help us with our video, and he's done a great job with us all year. But we look forward to seeing you guys, and I'll be on campus a little bit later. But really always appreciate the visits, man. We really enjoyed it this season.
Hey, listen, I tell you, y'all do a wonderful job, and I appreciate all the things that you do for, our program and highlighting our athletes. I don't think there's anything purer than high school sports. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate the job y'all done this year.
Well, thank you, Coach, and good luck tonight, and I look forward to seeing you in a little bit. Appreciate it. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
All right, let's go to our break. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just got a new wreck reported. Pulaski Pike and Beaver Dam. Sounds like it's going to be north of the intersection. That one is coming in with injuries. Had 131 northbound at Carl Prince and Hartselle in Morgan County. And we had Drake in the Parkway that should be clear. Had 565 westbound near Oakwood that also should be clearing. No hose, no mask. You can ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Neck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. Are you ready to enjoy another great football season with us here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill? Our special big game headquarters menu includes fan favorites such as our gooey char-grilled chicken and chips, Victory Caesar salad with your choice of char-grilled chicken, grilled whitefish, or shrimp. And you'll definitely want to tackle our gooey char-grilled chicken sandwich with a fresh mojo marinated boneless chicken breast topped with a Blanco cheese and bacon served with curly fries. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, legendary fun and legendary food.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Uh-oh. A classic.
There we go. A thriller for you. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can be a part of the show. Just remember, Halloween in college football terms here in the state of Alabama means two different things to two different fan bases.
Really?
Yes, because today is Nick Saban's birthday.
Oh, that's right. Happy birthday, Coach.
And remember, Auburn fired Brian Harsin on Halloween.
Did that? That's right.
Same.
Well, Hugh better win some ball games. Coming off a big dub.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's got Diego Pavia to contend with this week.
Diego trying to continue his mastery like of the Michael Myers of the state of Alabama, whipping everybody.
It was so funny because somebody was like, yeah, Diego Pavia, he sure owns Brian Hart, or he sure owns Hugh Freeze. And I'm like, well, Jerry Keel owns Alabama. It's the same thing. I mean, Jerry, it's crazy how they're all intertwined to the state of Alabama without even, you don't even think of it.
Well, and we have another listener with another classic song we have not now. Our good friend that works here, and he'll probably be running the board tonight for my game, Jeff Scarborough. He is known for his ability to sing a very unbelievably accurate rendition of Monster Mash. And people have already brought that up. Scott, they think you need to play Irving McGuire in pickleball and come out to Monster Mash. That's pretty funny.
Dude, Irving McGuire, I'm telling you, if I could find the video, I saw it.
Yeah, where he
yesterday,
was squatting.
I can't remember where I saw it at, but Irving McGuire squatting yesterday is an impressive feat.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It is an impressive feat to see him. So I'm like, okay. Oh boy.
Don't want to mess with him.
Did you find it?
Oh. Here we go.
Oh. See, Bailey, do you now know what I'm talking about? It is not okay, let's see here. I got to if it's on his Facebook page, okay, here we go. I'm going to show you. You ready? Here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go. Take a look at this. That's Coach McGuire squatting right there.
Uh-oh.
Look at that. Look at that bar.
That's about 3 on each side.
I don't know how much. That's more than 3. That is impressive right there.
I'm just saying, that 6 total looks to me on each side.
That is
slinging the weight.
That's what I'm telling you.
He was a good player. Telling you.
Anyway.
His league generals will be taking the field trying to end their season on a high note against Huntsville tonight.
All right, Jared is with us this morning. Good morning, Jared.
What's going on, Jared?
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Morning.
So, we were talking about A&M earlier. And
yeah.
To be honest, I hadn't been like just an avid watcher of them this year. Obviously, I've been paying attention, to their win losses. They're doing pretty good. But, after the Bama game, you had to turn on A&M and LSU because those games are just always super exciting for some reason. And, man, Drew, are you laughing to the bank watching Dirtneck sulk somewhere as A&M continues to win games?
I'm not surprised. Look, and
is
then
he really sulking though? He's sitting there like Scrooge McDuck in a pile of money.
Know. And I read Andy Staples, column. He still swears that Elko and Brian Kelly didn't get along for that 1 year, and that he was taking shots at Brian Kelly for being a politician and talking fast. But how can you ever say when you mention somebody talking fast, the king of that is Dirtneck? We used to talk about it all the time. Remember, I used to say,
you would hate to be a stenographer and have to translate what he or not or type down what he's saying.
It's impossible.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, after watching that game, though, I was pretty impressed, man. Elko got them guys playing ball, and I'll tell you what, man, they put that Reed guy in. That guy is electric. I was so surprised. That dude is fast. He might be Jalen Milroe fast, and he can sling it too, dude. I don't see a comparison between the two, him and Connor Wegman. Obviously Connor's probably got the experience behind him, but man, that guy has some raw talent.
But let me ask you this though, Drew. You bring up a great point, Jared. Does Mike Elko have a quarterback problem though? Because he's trying to balance.
Not if both of them can help you win.
But they always say if you have two, you don't have one.
Well, maybe, but in this case,
does he have
they're just different.
a problem developing, though, that could be a fly in the ointment?
Right now, he doesn't. They're winning games. So, I mean, you got one. They kind of complement each other. One's a really good runner in Marcel Reed, who can make plays with his legs. And then we know Wegman is a drop back guy. Now, Wegman's been injury prone and turned the ball over. Reed has got more explosiveness. I was a little bit surprised Wegman got the job back because they were rolling, but it worked. So right now it's kind of like Zhao and Watch. You just keep, that didn't that played itself out. But again, it worked, and Tyler ended up getting injured. But still, I mean, they were, and really Zhao was more the drop back guy. Watts was the runner in Dennis Franchioni's offense, but it worked, and even under Mike DeBose. But I'm just saying it rarely works, but every now and then you can catch lightning in a bottle, and perhaps A&M's doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, last thing I'll say before I let y'all, kick me out of here is, Drew, what do you think? Drew and Scott, sorry, both of y'all. I always say Drew, but I think it's just I don't know why. I just always do. Sorry.
It's all good.
You too, Scott. But what do y'all think? We got a pretty big game next week at LSU in Death Valley. After watching Tennessee, obviously the loud stadiums and the hecticity seems to affect Milroe and the guys. How do you think we'll tighten up, and do you think we could get a dub down there, or are we pretty 50-50 on that? And y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Jared. I think Alabama can win the game. I mean, they have to protect the ball. They did in the last game as they got the impressive win against Missouri. I think that's the key. Milroe, and hopefully they'll make some adjustments with how they're checking and things of that nature. And certainly I will say I don't think the LSU defense, while it's improved exponentially, I don't think it's South Carolina by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
And Missouri's front was pretty good too. So they'll be facing some similarities there. Hopefully they'll be a little healthier, will Alabama. That certainly would help, because they need all hands on deck. I think after the last game, they had some guys banged up, even though Prentice played. I don't think he was 100%. You need him back at the wide receiver spot. I think you need more reps out of him. No question about that. And I think you need to get your offensive line healthier. Jaden Roberts, I'm sure this break will help him. He was banged up a little bit. And then I think Elijah Pritchett, he informed me of kind of going back to rotating at right tackle. It'll be interesting to see how Alabama approaches that. And then the biggest thing is Alabama's secondary, because, you got Aaron Anderson, you got Kyron Lacey. Those guys can play. Right. And you're going to have to, and Hinton, we'll see if he's available. And then Mason Taylor, you're going to need as many healthy DBs as possible. So I think the bye week was good from Alabama for that standpoint.
Yeah. And, I mean, you look at it, and we've talked a lot about the fact that this would be a huge win for Kalen DeBoer. I mean, he has yet to win on the road in the conference. It's not going to be easy, but he needs this one. Not for job's sake, not for anything like that, but just to get this part of this monkey off his back, so to speak, the weight off his shoulders on winning a road game. Just get it done. Let's get a break in. Coming up on Saturday, here is what you've got. You do have Arkansas. Well, yeah, they've got Ole Miss on Saturday. That's a big one. Sam Pittman, he's a 7-point underdog. Does Sam Pittman have it to pull the upset? We'll call it an upset over Ole Miss just because the Rebels are ranked. Does he have it in him to get it done on Saturday? We'll find out.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. The best chance for that is going to be as we head into the later part of the evening through the overnight and then early into your Friday morning. Temperatures on Thursday afternoon still going to climb into the upper 70s and lower 80s. A rather warm final day of October, a rather warm Halloween. We only drop into the mid-60s as we head into the overnight. A couple of isolated showers are going to be possible through Friday afternoon, but it looks like many of us are going to be dry. Temperatures hanging out in the mid-70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
They've cleared everything now except that wreck at Pulaski Pike and Beaver Dam. That one's north of the intersection. They haven't put a HIMSI unit on it, so it may turn out to be a no injury. Officers, construction workers, and first responders are putting their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
The final week of the regular season is here. Thursday, Huntsville takes on Lee on Talk Radio WZZN. Buckhorn takes on Grissom on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Friday night, Madison Academy's at Westminster Christian. The MA broadcast will be on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Wildcats broadcast will be on Talk Radio WZZN. And Randolph is at home to New Hope on Zone 3. And the playoffs begin next week.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
My monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash.
There we go.
It was a graveyard smash.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Jeff can do it just as good as this cat.
I have not heard that.
Yeah, it was good.
Was it good?
Yeah.
All right, coming up on Saturday, 11 a.m. Got to wake up a little early for this one. Arkansas Ole Miss in Fayetteville. Hogs a 7-point underdog to Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels, which you could say for 3.5 quarters did not look real good against Oklahoma. Did Ole Miss? They were able to get the win, but they did not look real great in a 26-14 win over the Sooners. Sooners have no offense, but it makes you wonder, can Arkansas put enough together to stop Ole Miss at home on Saturday?
Well, I mean, this has been I still think a fun Arkansas team to watch. Bringing Bobby Petrino back to town. Nobody saw that coming in the offseason, but I think it's really sparked their offense. Now, it's been a little bit up and down, the play has, and they let an opportunity slip through their fingers in their opening game in Stillwater against Oklahoma State. But then I thought they maybe had the biggest win, maybe that along with routing Texas in Fayetteville, but they went ahead and they won the game at home against Tennessee, which was epic, and did so after Taylor Green got injured. But then they dropped the game at home to LSU, but then they bounced back in a big way and get a W. And now they have a chance to, I still think, get to a nice bowl game. And Sam Pittman, I think, really has helped himself this year. And we're going to talk about it with our next guest. He's the publisher of hogsports.com, part of 24/7 Sports. It's been a while since we've caught up with him, but we saw him in Dallas, Texas. It was certainly, we knew we would, and he does as good a job as anyone. And I love his walk and talks. The one after the Tennessee game was probably the best I've ever seen. It was crazy, but it's Trey Biddy, and he's been kind enough to join us on this Halloween. Trey, happy Halloween. Welcome back to Huntsville. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, guys. It has been a while.
It has.
It has.
Well. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe when I texted yesterday, I was like, a year? I was like,
long?
yeah, I was like, come on. I couldn't believe it. but I mean, but it's been fun watching the Arkansas team. I know going into the season, the expectations were a little tempered, but I think we could tell in Stillwater that this was going to be a much better team. I certainly thought Arkansas should have won that football game. And then I thought that the Tennessee win was a watershed moment. Now, I know they had a rough patch at home against LSU, and it's been kind of strange during Sam Pittman's tenure where they've played better football on the road, which is what they did last week.
Yeah, they have. Especially last year, they played. I mean, they played at Ole Miss to a score. They played at LSU to a score. They played at Alabama to a score.
Yep.
And then just did not perform very well at home last season. Part of the reason for the LSU, I'm not saying this is the only reason they lost to LSU, but Taylor Green was definitely not 100% in that game. He was hit on the knee late in that Tennessee game and just didn't have the running ability that he normally has. So that definitely played a big role in that loss. But bounce back against Mississippi State. Now Mississippi State could be a little bit of fool's gold. They are last in every major category defensively. But this defense overall for Arkansas,
yes.
Aside from the LSU game, every game is tight. Either Arkansas wins or it's a one-score loss. And I do think that they've gotten a lot better, digesting this offense under Petrino. But at the same time, there's a trend. When you look at teams that do a good job at getting to the quarterback, Arkansas has struggled in those games. Texas A&M probably kind of middle of the road. Tennessee, for as good a front as they have defensively, they don't get to the quarterback. They're second to the last in the SEC in sacks. Mississippi State was dead last in the SEC in sacks, and Arkansas did about whatever they wanted against them. The LSU, pretty good sack team. I think they're third in the conference, and disrupted Arkansas a good bit. And Ole Miss, going into this game, is the number one sack team in the SEC at 4.3 sacks per game. And that, to me, probably is what would give them an edge. But you guys know as well as anybody, I mean, when you look at SEC games against competent competition, it's 5 things. And you can break down everything, offensive, defensively, these keys to victory. There are 5 things. It's turnovers, penalties, special teams, overcoming injuries, which is the big part of this game and other games, and not just not avoiding mistakes, but making your opponent pay for mistakes. Also, I hate when fans say, "Well, they didn't beat us; we beat ourselves." No, you made mistakes, but they made you pay for them, and that's what all these games are going to come down to. It might be a sloppy track in Fayetteville, also, which could favor the underdog.
One of the things, Taylor Green, I mean, you mentioned the sacks. Is he able to avoid those? Is he able to find a way to stay out of trouble and keep Arkansas out of 3rd and long and really bad situations? But, this is the quarterback that Bobby Petrino's wanted. He's come in and he has slowly kind of developed that passing game along, and he's kind of adjusted to the SEC nicely, and he's kind of developed after a slower start in the passing game.
Yeah, and it wasn't just against SEC competition. I mean, he didn't throw the ball exceedingly well against UAB, in the middle of the season. But there was a streak where he did not complete better than 57% of his passes over 4 games, including 2 games where he was under 45% passing. And, they also won one of those games, but where he was 40%. So, or both of them, I guess both of them, they beat Auburn and UAB. But the last 3, he has completed at least 67% of his passes, I believe, against LSU and Tennessee and Mississippi State. If he can throw the ball, if he's in a groove throwing the ball, then look out, because this guy can gobble up ground in a hurry. He is every bit of 6'6". He's a long strider. He doesn't look like he's moving as fast as he is, and people take very bad angles on him. And I can't count how many times this season where it's been 3rd and long and he has picked up a first down, and I'm just like, how did he do that? He didn't look like he took that many steps. I mean, this guy takes 10 yards in 2 steps, it seems like. So that is something to watch for in this game. If he is on point as a passer and he's getting good protection, then Arkansas is going to win the game, because his legs will come into play also. And he's been extremely dangerous as a runner. I think up there among the most dangerous running quarterbacks in the country. I mean, he's a guy, he hasn't broken off a 70-yard run yet, but he's capable of it.
Well, when I'm watching him, I just keep expecting him to do that because it's like I'm watching Matt Jones all over again, except he throws the ball better when he's in rhythm. I mean, because Matt was such a great athlete himself and was one of those striders, and Matt tended to break big runs. I mean, he did it against a lot of people, and people forget how good an athlete Matt Jones was.
Matt was probably stride-wise, you're exactly right. They remind me very much of each other, especially like when they hit the corner. The difference with Matt, and he wasn't as good of a passer as Talon is, but he was probably a little thicker, a little more physical runner. He could take it up the middle and break a bunch of tackles, whereas Talon's more about, outrunning people and juking people.
Yeah, he's been fun to watch.
So obviously, if Arkansas is able to prevail in this one, I mean, they seem like they have everything going for them. I mean, they would move to 7-2, or they would move to 6. They'd get 6 wins. They'd hit the mark of 6.
6-3.
They would be 4-2 in conference play. Is that enough for us just to forget and stop all of this Sam Pittman coming back next year, not coming back next year talk?
I think it probably is. I mean, you still got Louisiana Tech on the schedule. That would get you to 7 wins. Some people have said 6 wins would be enough given how last year went. And some people have said, 7. So if you beat Ole Miss or Missouri or Texas, all big challenges, obviously.
Yeah.
And to go with Louisiana Tech, that gets you to 7 wins. Now, I always say, people say stuff in the preseason that they think is acceptable when they're in the middle of it and they're living it. Is completely unacceptable. It's, you lose a game and it's fire everybody. So, there's that emotion to college football also that you have to take into account. But yeah, I do think given, Pittman made mistakes last year. He made a really bad hire in Dan Enos. He just did not gel at all up until his firing after what I think is the most disappointing offensive performance maybe in 20 years covering this team, considering the quality of opponents. They lost 7-3 to Mississippi State at home, and the only reason they scored 3 is because of an interception deep in Mississippi State territory. So justifiably fired, if anybody has been. Probably Chad Morris and Dan Enos are the most justifiable hires when they were let go. Is anybody in program history? Right there with Jack Crow after losing to the Citadel in year 3 of '92. So, justifiably fired. Pittman made the mistake of hiring him. He also made a really good hire in Travis Williams.
Yes.
I mean, Arkansas defense has been really outstanding for the most part under Williams. But, yeah, I think you could probably close the door on that. Some people say, that Pittman's going to retire after this year and Bobby Petrino will take over. And, maybe that happens. I don't know. But Pittman is, I think, 62 and Petrino's 63. It's not like he's like the young guy waiting in the wings at the same age. So I always find that kind of interesting that people say it like that. But I do know that Pittman's ultimate goal was for this to be his last coaching job. And he wants to get Arkansas in a state where it's competitive and respectful, and to eventually hand the reins over to somebody on the staff. Whether that's Petrino or not, I don't know. He mentioned that to me before Petrino was ever a thought. A couple of years ago, that was his ultimate goal for this program, because, there's 60 people that work under him. And when the coach gets fired, it's not just the coach, it's all of his assistants. Usually you'll retain maybe 1 or 2, but all the support staff, all those people that work under him also are, fretting for their jobs. And so I've always known that's what Pittman's ultimate goal is. So that would continue, obviously, with the win over Ole Miss.
Well, and you're very close to the program. You guys have interaction all the time. It really seems to me that Bobby Petrino is happy to be back in Fayetteville. He loved to be the head coach there. We all know how it ended. The fans love him. He seems to be settling in, and you see it. I mean, we saw the tight end start to become a huge part of this offense in the last game against Mississippi State. He did a great job of developing those guys when he was at Arkansas. This seems to just be – they talk about fit all the time with coaches, but he seems to really love the Hogs and being back, I guess.
Well, I'm not sure that there was a move that Arkansas could have made in the offseason that would have kept fans in it. I mean, fans had pretty much felt like Pittman should have been fired, winning 4 games in year 4. Not many coaches survived that. But the move of hiring Bobby Petrino had everybody going, oh, okay, well, let's see what Bobby could do. Bobby Petrino always compare a little bit to Marilyn Monroe, because Marilyn Monroe disappeared at her peak, and that's kind of what happened with Petrino.
Right.
Obviously different circumstances. He didn't die. He had a motorcycle wreck that led to all kinds of scandals and stuff. But in Arkansas fans' minds, this guy just led him to 10 wins, just led him to 11 wins, top 5 national ranking. They were preseason top 10 heading into the next year, and then it's over. There was never a fall for Bobby Petrino as far as on the field. People remember him as a great head coach and a great play caller. And that's very rare in college athletics these days, unless you're like a Nick Saban or an Urban Meyer or something like that, who, was winning championships. So it's pretty rare to have that, and then to turn around after over a decade, 12 years, and try to rekindle it. So, I mean, I don't, when things get so toxic after, 4 and 8 in year 4, when you're talking about, donations for NIL, just the discussion around the program, it's hard to be around. And that's one reason nowadays, more and more, I think you see coaches get fired because of the incoming toxicity of the off season. But hiring Bobby Petrino, I'm not sure there is another offensive coordinator they could have hired in the country that would have, changed fans' opinions more than bringing Bobby Petrino in.
Wow. Hey, I know it was Mississippi State last weekend, and Mississippi State's had a rough go, and Jeff Levy's offense is they're trying to get it going and they're trying to get it in the right direction. But was that an impressive win for Arkansas on Saturday, just going out and just handling business from start to finish in an impressive way?
Against Mississippi State?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in part, obviously. You talking about the way they performed on offense?
Yeah, just the way they handled it. Yeah, the way that they went out there. Because, I mean, Mississippi State had played Texas tough, had played Georgia tough.
They had shown improvement.
And you almost got a feeling like, okay, maybe Mississippi State could come in and sneak one out here. But Arkansas went in there and ended that in a hurry.
Yeah, no, they did. And it's important to, qualify that with some of those close games that Mississippi State played, and then consider that Arkansas blew the doors off of them 58-25. Now, Mississippi State also is very undisciplined. I mean, and they're year 1 under Jeff Levy. I don't think you ever judge a coach by what happens in his first year. Maybe you start maybe a little more towards the end of that first year, but if we did that, then Nick Saban is an average coach or below average coach at Alabama, and Steve Sarkisian's terrible at Texas, so it's hard to judge a coach on year 1. But Mississippi State, to me, shot themselves in the foot over and over again with foolish penalties, selfish mistakes. And I've never seen so many goal line plays go against one team, but it was like 3 at the yard line, and they all went against Mississippi State, and each of them cost them. But yeah, Arkansas played a good game. Defense probably, in my opinion, had their worst outing overall this season, but it wasn't horrendous. So it's hard for me to take a whole lot away from beating a team that's dead last in total defense, scoring defense, rushing defense, passing defense, sacks. Although they're obviously competent on offense.
And we're talking to Trey Biddy, and Trey, but we know this is going to be the opposite, this challenge in Fayetteville coming up on Saturday, because you already talked about Ole Miss and their front, their defense, and we're very familiar with Pete Golding here. What they've spent a lot of money, got a lot of talent on that side of the ball, but at the same time, Arkansas is coming off a great offensive performance. Now, is Jaquindon Jackson, is he going to be available? And even if he's not, though, I've watched him, and then he exploded last week. The biggin from Benton, Braylon Russell, this guy's a load. What's going to be the key in your mind for Arkansas to have a chance to beat Ole Miss at home?
Yeah, we're trying to come up with a good nickname for him. The biggin from Benton, that's not bad. The Benton Bruiser has been another one. Braylon Russell, he was very highly recruited, 4-star back out of Benton, Arkansas, 6'1", 253 pounds, and he went 16 times for 175 yards against Mississippi State last weekend before he looked like he cramped up. We thought it was a hamstring initially because he's grabbing the back of his leg, but it's a cramp apparently. That he, it was a 75-yard run. He probably would have housed if not for that. So he's got surprising quickness and speed to be a guy that big. He's got a really promising future, and he'll be a guy that they let eat on Saturday against Ole Miss. Jaquin is not going to be available.
Gotcha.
He's already listed as out,
Mm-hmm.
but they could get him back. He's got an ankle injury he's been dealing with, but I think the plan is to keep resting him. They've got a bye week after this Ole Miss game, and then they play Texas. And Jaquin originally played at Texas. He was a top 50 recruit. He signed on as a quarterback at Texas before transferring to Utah and then eventually to Arkansas. So I think that's the game he's probably really eyeballing. But Jaquin's a very talented back. I think he's the next level running back, and they need to get him back healthy also. If they can get Braylon playing the way he is and Jaquin back, then that's a pretty dangerous backfield, especially when you got a running quarterback like Taylor Green.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great challenge. We're looking forward to that. It's an early kickoff, but should be a great crowd coming off of this route of Mississippi State.
Yep.
And
Home teams won each of the last 5.
There we go.
Hey guys, you remember 2022, Ole Miss was a 14-point road favorite in Fayetteville, 14 points. At the start of the fourth quarter, Arkansas was ahead 42-6.
Wow.
Well, they'd take that again Saturday for sure. And, especially with the return of Bobby Petrino and the maturation of this offense and these weapons, and with the potential to return so many next year, a lot of excitement. This could be a complete flip from the feeling at the end of last year for Arkansas football. I certainly have felt like it, that they've flipped the script, and looks like they're going to get back to postseason. Well, Trey, we always appreciate it. You do the best job of anyone. I love your walk and talks. Let everybody know how to follow you, man.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Trey Biddy, TreyBiddy. You can follow our YouTube channel, HAWGsports.com, if you want to watch the walk and talks or any post-game videos. And, of course, we're part of the 24/7 Sports Network at Hog Sports, HAWGsports.com, covering all things Arkansas Razorbacks.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Trey.
Yep, thanks, guys.
All right. Wow, a year. We hadn't talked to him in a year.
Yeah, it's crazy because we've talked to Otis Kirk, we've talked to some Arkansas folks, but I just didn't realize it. And again, I talked to Trey in Dallas. We didn't record anything with him down there, but I was just like, wow, we haven't talked to Trey Biddy, and he's the guy. For me.
Let's get that final break in on a Halloween. And tomorrow's headlines wraps us up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It's looking like that wreck, Pulaski Pike and Beaver Dam, north of the intersection's going to be a no injury or just a very minor injury accident. Still showing it on the board. They show everything else is being cleared this morning, so definitely be careful as you make the rest of your dash in this morning. Snelling needs an experienced weigh station operator. The position is a direct hire. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Each week, they lace it up. Each week, we'll present our Team of the Week.
Get it in here. I got one thing to say.
So it's time for the Bryant Bank Team of the Week presentation.
Yes, indeed it is. On a Halloween, we're handing out treats.
Yes,
on
we are.
Halloween, full-size treats. $500 worth of treats we're handing
It's
out.
a lot of candy, Scott.
We're going,
even if it is the large candy
we're
bar.
We're going king size. You know, like
Oh,
when you go to the
man.
candy store and you get the 10-pound Reese's peanut
Yeah, I
butter
used to
cup
try.
or
I mean, I
whatever.
used to try to sneak those into the movie theater.
Not 10 pounds.
Not that was Brandon trying to kill
I'm
us.
talking about the 10-pound candy bar.
Yeah, well, you did yours the smart way. You just made a bunch of peanut butter cookies.
Out of
yeah,
them.
I
had
to cut mine into 4 pieces and eat it slowly.
I'm sure Halloween for you was an awful night because, I mean, you can't just sit down and gorge on candy.
I'm not sitting down, and where I live, you know, I'm fortunate. You know, I'm in the back. There's not a lot of.
Do you leave your light on at all?
Hell no.
Anyway,
sorry, kiddies out there. I'm not trying to dish you.
Yeah, but I am. Anyway, we've got to hand out a team of the week.
We are.
And I tell you what, you win on the road to get a playoff
with
berth.
everything at stake.
Yeah, to get a playoff berth that qualifies you, and Westminster Christian Academy qualified.
They are 21-14. They were down 14-7 at the half. Louis LeBlanc's team back in the postseason. They'll play tomorrow, and you'll have 2 crews on that: Josh Carey, Jimmy Lay, and then of course you'll have Steve and Glenn Laird, and that will be for the 3rd and 4th seed in 4A Region 8. But man, I tell you what, Louis LeBlanc and Westminster Christian Academy back in the postseason.
You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You just crossed over into
Twilight Zone.
the Twilight Zone.